to finish The Office, there's 9 seasons. It's taken me more than like 7 months to watch 9 seasons of The Office, and the episodes aren't even that long. Like I'm just not doing it. Like I just have so much other stuff to do. And you know what? I'm finally okay with it. I finally just don't care anymore. Like I'm just like whatever. Because before I would see my game stations and I would see like all these video games that are just collecting dust and I'm not playing, and there's all this TV shows and movies that I want to watch. And I was like, oh man, like I could be doing that instead of this. And now I'm like, why the fuck would I want to do that instead of this anyways?
But, you know, it's all about having fun, living in the moment.
But I find this fun. And I think that having conversations with people is more living in the moment. For me specifically, like I find this more enjoyable than like watching a movie or an anime or whatever else. And I deleted webtoons again. Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Yep. I gave myself a nice little 3-month break is what I call it. Like, dude, you know what's crazy? All of my like mental vacations always includes webtoons. It always includes like Manhwa. Like whenever I download it, yeah, I'm just like, all right, this is my time to relax. And then, 3 jobs, like it's not really relaxing, but for me, I'm just like, I'm mentally giving myself enough of a break that like it's okay. And yeah, that's gone. My break is over. Time to get back into it.
Well, now just like maybe once a day for like 10 minutes, just play some Witcher 3 or something like that, and you'll that can be your break. Webtoons, I don't know, I feel like reading webtoons, at least the way you did, feels like watching YouTube shorts or something like that, where you're just like speed running through it, and then you're like, okay, got my fix.
For sure.
So
it is kind of like that. I definitely get the same vibe from that in YouTube shorts, but I do enjoy it though. Like I enjoy like the stories. They're not, I look for the longer ones, but I finish them so fast. But yeah, I like it. Dude, I really want to talk, and you might not want to talk about it because I know it hurts you deep, deep inside, but I didn't even know that you were in a tournament. How could you not tell me?
Well, I was really excited. So it isn't like an official, like, go there in person type tournament, but with Marvel Rivals, I think every season they've had a tournament for it. The first season 0, I wasn't in the loop, so I didn't know they had a tournament, and it was like, whatever. This season, we had a tournament, and like the group of people I was playing with, like 3 months in advance, we were like, okay, let's do this. Like we signed up for it. There were another, it was a total of 2,500 teams. So we were like, okay, we'll do this. All the way back then in January, it gave us the days that we would be playing. It gave us the times that we would be playing.
Nice.
So it told us everything we needed to know. There was no new information. So the first weekend, which I think is 2 weeks back at this point, first weekend of the tournament, we had a decently good performance. I think we ended up winning 7 of our games and lost 3. The 3 we lost were close, and we only really lost them because some of us were getting agitated and our communication was coming down. So we would, like in those games, we would have a really strong start, and then we just kind of peter off.
Gotcha.
But we ended up, 7-3 performance. We ended up getting, place 331, which was within the
2,500. Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah, it was within the bracket for going from open qualifiers to closed qualifiers. So we were in. If we'd gotten in the top 128, then we would have been able to just go straight to double elimination. We didn't make it there. That was filled with like a lot of streamer teams, and generally I think like maybe only 20 of that 128 made it in with only 9 wins. I think most of the teams that made it in won all 10 of their games.
Oh wow.
But yeah, so we got through our open qualifiers. We were feeling good, feeling great. The weekend of closed qualifiers, a couple things happened. One, a storm hit us. I don't know if you were aware of the storm that happened.
I was here.
Yeah. Big storm. So one of our players loses internet and isn't able to play. We had one sub that we would have been able to slot in, and we did get them in. But the other problem is that one of our other players just didn't call off work. They just didn't call off. We've known like for 3 months what days the tournament was going to take place on, and he's a pretty good player, but he didn't call off work for Saturday. And leading up to that Saturday, like he had all week to try and figure something out. Or last day, like just be like, look, I can't come into work. I'm sick. Like he could have done something.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. So the way the tournament times work is on Saturday and Sunday, there's about a 4-hour span of time that you can play.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't get off work until like 2.5 hours into the first night. So we felt pretty shitty because we did try to play like 2 games.
Yeah.
We lost both of them terribly because the sub that we were playing with, we haven't played any games with him. Like no like coordination with him at all. And also he was like pretty toxic for some reason, even though it wasn't a tournament that he was officially a part of and he had nothing on the line, no stakes or anything. We get like 1 game in and he's like saying like DPS diff and stuff like that. It's like, okay, look, buddy, let's shut up for a second. This doesn't matter to you. If you win, you get nothing. If you lose, you get nothing. So like,
just have fun.
Yeah, he ended up killing our vibe, and on top of that, us losing 2 games felt a little bad. So we stopped for that night, and we were like, okay. The guy who didn't call off work, he was saying the entire time that he wouldn't be able to make it Saturday. He said nothing about Sunday. Mm-hmm. So we presumed Sunday would be fine. There was someone else who couldn't make it Sunday. He ended up calling off work that day. So we were like, okay, we got this. Sunday happens, he's at work again. He didn't share the fact that he was actually working both days. He just thought Saturday would be the only day. So we ended up just having to say, okay, we're not doing it. Which really sucks because I think maybe about 30 of the bottom, it was in, there were 384 teams. We had to make it in the top 128. I think the bottom like 10, 15 teams got in with only 6 wins.
Oh, yeah.
So there was a chance we could have made it.
For sure.
Which makes it all the worse that we didn't. Because outside of just wins and losses, if it came down to like tiebreakers, there were a lot of things they set up to like kind of, I guess, establish like which team was better. Like I think one thing was kills, like how many kills like a team got in their game.
Yeah.
How quickly they finished the game. Like we had some games in our open qualifiers we finished in like 5 minutes, which is pretty good because if the teams are generally kind of close, the game will maybe go from anywhere from like 8 to 12 minutes.
Okay.
So there were a couple
like
games that we just like, we just went in and we demolished them. And if we'd actually shown up, if everyone had taken the time to call off work or call in sick, we could have potentially gotten through close to qualifiers. Yeah. So it felt like shit. And I've yet to tell them that I probably I don't think I intend to run another tournament with them because it feels really shitty that one person just not taking the time to call off work, especially because I don't think he does like an important job. Like he could have called off and he doesn't. So I've yet to establish that I do not have any intentions of running the next tournament with them because he's a really good player.
Yeah,
but he didn't show up on the second weekend of the tournament. So
I got you.
I'm still coming down.
What? So Marvel's Rivals is similar to some of the other previous games, like Overwatch and some other games, like Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
Did they also have tournaments?
Not like the way Marvel Rivals did it. Marvel Rivals, really anyone could participate, and the division that you had to be Gold 1. in order to participate, which is remarkably like low elo for a tournament, in my opinion, because yeah, I like a lot of us were like really like maybe third or fourth rank from the top, like Grandmaster or something. So a couple of those games that we like did really well in, like we were facing people that were kind of like middle of the road, like Platinum or Diamond. But yeah, Overwatch, to my knowledge, didn't have any official in-game online tournaments that like any team could participate in. Marvel Rivals was pretty organized in that sense because it was literally a tab in-game that you could make a faction with up to 12 people, and then you could just sign your team up. So it's like Overwatch definitely has had like, you know, in-person tournaments elsewhere, or maybe online tournaments that you had to sign up for through some like third-party like website. But no, like Marvel Rivals, I think, to my knowledge, well, it's definitely the first game of that genre that has done that I've played that's been that organized with a tournament. But it might be like the first in general that's like been that open with allowing just anyone to participate with the tournament. And there was money on the line, to be clear.
I heard, I heard like 16 grand for the first place.
It was 14,500. Okay. But yeah, we weren't making it. I don't think we were going to make it to first place, but like feels pretty shitty because we could have made it. We could have made it into double eliminations. Maybe like I don't remember what the step after that was, but it would have been double eliminations, and I think it was going to be like best of 5. We could have maybe made it to best of 5, but yeah, it sucks that we didn't. But yeah, no, Marvel Rivals tournament next season, different.
Oh, so is that? I don't want to put too much of your business out there, but like, so is that the plan? You're looking for another group to jump in with?
I already have like a couple of the people that I do play with. Like 2 of the people in the group, in our current group, are people we met online that were pretty chill, and I mean they are chill. Some of them, when they get a little like tilted, they will, you know, maybe make comments that aren't very appreciative. The one that couldn't show up will often be like that. The other guy will just get quiet. Like, he just won't communicate as often as he usually does when he gets really annoyed. But that guy's really chill. I'll feel a little bad if I don't play with him anymore, but like, it was that weekend, it was a really bad feeling just sitting through those like combined 8 hours and not playing.
Yeah.
Especially because after the fact, learning that we really could have made it in. We could have made it, even though we lost 2 games.
Yeah.
Due to not having a team, we had a pretty good chance of making it through. They would have been hard games, but we had a pretty good chance of making it through, and it does not feel good to lose out in the tournament just because someone didn't take the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I intend to run it with a couple people I know, like Michael being one of them. I intend to run the next tournament with Michael. And yeah, like next tournament will likely happen next season. I think, well, it won't happen for like probably 4 months though, but yeah.
Okay. I got you. That's enough time to like find a squad and get into it. Oh yeah. Dude, you've dived headfirst into Warhammer 40K.
Against
your better judgment, baby?
Better judgment and really poor like financial decisions. Yes, I have. I've since like.
So Tyler got you.
Well, yeah, it's not like there are some things that I tend to have bad financial decisions with when I play, which when it comes to like gambling and stuff, I think I can get a little addicted, so I try to stay away from like gambling and stuff like that. And Warhammer isn't gambling, but it is kind of pay to win.
Okay.
And just like, you have to buy them. And granted, at home games, you can proxy. You can be like, oh, like this object is about as big as the mini would be, so we could use that. You could do that. But I'm also kind of a purist in that, like, I would very much prefer to have the official model.
Yeah.
Even if it's against my better judgment when it comes to spending habits. But yes, no, I've dived in. I don't know if I'm comfortable saying how much money I've dropped in the last 2 months.
Ooh.
But
now I'm very curious. All right.
It's bad.
Is it less than $5,000?
Should be, yes.
All right.
It should be. Yes.
All right. I mean,
in 2 months.
But the thing is that, bro, like, you're in a position where you can do that.
That's true.
Like,
that
you don't have an exorbitant amount of responsibilities.
That's
like
true.
this, if there was ever a time to do it, it would be now. You know what I mean?
It would be. Some people would say this is the time I should be saving money. But
I think that that's a weird one. I don't think that this is the time for you to be saving money necessarily. If anything, I think this is the time for you to be grinding work. So, like, boosting your resume, in my opinion, learning more than earning. Like, that's where you should be at. But other than that, I don't think saving necessarily is a thing. Like, you've got money, you want to enjoy your time. Like, that's very reasonable. As long as you live within your means. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, as long as you're not, like, incurring a ton of debt for Warhammer 40,000.
That hasn't happened yet.
Then I think you're in a healthy place right now.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, no, I couldn't say, and I'm not comfortable with saying how much money I've spent, but I will say I've accrued probably about 5,800 points in terms of like units in the army. To give you an idea of how many I would need to play a 2,000 point game, 2,000 points.
Yeah.
I've accrued almost 6,000. Which is far more than I'd ever need for a normal game. Though a lot of them are just for flexibility. Like, I got a lot of different models.
Yeah.
And like some of them, like one of them, I think like the coolest model I've built so far is called like the Satan Shard of the Void Dragon. He looks like really cool. I have a picture, I think, but I could show you later. But yeah, like, some of them are some really cool models. And then you got some shitty models that came out like 12 years ago, and they haven't made a new one of, and I ended up getting it, like Trays in the Infinite, and he's made of this like shitty resin that just has a bunch of attached parts, and they didn't even give a guide. Even though he was only like 4 pieces, I would have appreciated a guide to show exactly how I'm supposed to slot the pieces in. They didn't even give that, and he looks like crap. Until I paint him. Like, there's like a lot. I haven't started painting at all yet.
That's gonna be an endeavor.
Yes.
Like,
yes, it
shit.
will be. I have almost 6,000 points of an army, and I haven't painted shit. So that will probably take me like the next 6 months if I were to start soon.
And you've been playing, right? Like, you've already started playing even without the painting, right?
Yes.
So, like,
yes.
okay. So at least
yeah.
you get to still enjoy it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The painting is really just for my own satisfaction, which I do want to get them painted because they do look really cool when painted.
Yeah.
And it's like to the point that there are a couple models I have bought. I've dropped hundreds of dollars on models that I have not started building yet.
Yeah.
Because they recommend painting before you fully complete it. They recommend like painting it in sub-assemblies.
Yeah.
And while I don't need to do that because like, you know, like I'm not going to see every part of it very often. There are going to be parts that I'm not going to see very well whenever I'm looking at the model. I know that they won't be painted. So that's going to hurt me on the inside.
Yeah.
And so I'm waiting until I've painted a couple things before I build them. Like there's one like unit called a monolith. I think I showed you the box when I bought it like 4 weeks ago. I haven't built that yet because it recommends you build it like in sub-assemblies, and I don't want like that's going to be like one of my like treasured units. So I don't want to paint it like shit.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to leave parts of it gray. So yeah, no. That's going to be an endeavor when I do it because when I start painting, I'm going to have to paint with all the models I'm least attached to get the hang of it.
Yeah. I mean, that does make sense.
Yeah.
When you paint it, are you planning on following like the core material, like how it would probably look in the storyline, or are you going however you want it to look?
I haven't decided yet, and I might paint a couple of my more like, I guess, some of my more like low point units. I might paint some of them a couple different ways to see if I like one way or another. There is like a set way they're supposed to look.
Yeah.
But then also in like the lore of Warhammer, like Necrons have like several different dynasties that have several different looks.
Okay.
So I could go like more that angle with them. I haven't decided yet because some of the models also I could just give a more unique look to. I really don't know. I think I might try going the standard look initially because some of the Necron weapons look really cool. Because you have to like prime them and then like paint them like Caliban green and then like kind of shade it with like a Tesseract glow, and it like kind of, it's like a yellow paint that kind of makes it shine bright green when it's like mixed in.
Yeah.
It looks like really good. Their weapons look really good. So I might do that just because I don't have an alternative in mind for their weapons, and the Tesseract glow looks really nice on their weapons. So yeah, I probably am gonna go the basic colors for them. Still gonna be a lot of painting though, and as someone who has not, like, definitely never painted to the degree that this is gonna require it, I'm scared.
Yeah, because it's fine, like fine tip brush painting. It's like very detailed. It's because it's different from like painting a wall. Like you can kind of do a whole wall. You do like a large kind of stretches, and then you finish it up. And then I feel like when it comes to Warhammer, it's a lot more like detailed, and if you mess up, it's a lot more noticeable.
It's a little bit of both. If I were to mess up, I could always, like, you know, put it in alcohol and let the paint come off and redo it. Yeah. So, like, what is probably going to happen is when I start painting and I get the hang of it, I'm probably going to go back and repaint the models I initially started with. It's probably going to look like shit. But when it comes to starting to paint, from my understanding, it is a little bit like when you're doing, like, wall art, where you do have to prime it.
Yeah.
Then you have to give it a base color, and then you can do like the fine details.
Yeah.
For example, with the Tesseract glow on like the weapons and stuff. So like priming everything, like I could prime every like model in my unit, and that would be like, I would be way better than their just like typical gray plastic. But yeah, like have to prime it, base color, and then yeah, there will be like fine details, like their eyes glow green, and they got like some of their weapons have like tubes that are supposed to glow green and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those would be like fine details I'd have to adhere to. And yeah, no, it's gonna be a whole thing. It still takes me like a couple hours to put together like 5 models.
Yeah.
Of like baseline battle line units, so it's probably gonna take a couple hours to paint like one dude. I don't know.
No, I got you. Are you planning on doing competitions for Warhammer as well?
If I find the time, like I like being competitive. From what I've been told, a lot of tournaments are what you see is what you get, like type rules, where when you're playing a home game, like you can proxy stuff. Like I mentioned, like I could say like a box of tissues, if it's relative to the size of a model. Mm-hmm. While it is a little bit extreme, I could be like, hey, I could ask the person I'm playing with, could I proxy this as like a model that's like pretty close in size? And if they say yes, then we can do it. Obviously, at a tournament, can't bring a box of tissues and say it's like one of my most powerful units. Yeah. But that also, from my understanding, applies to how I build the units. There are a lot of units for Necrons that give you a choice of weapons. Mm-hmm. I've been led to believe that if I go to a tournament and I have these models with one pair of weapons, I can't say, hey, for this battle, I'm running them with a different pair. What I put on them is what they're going to have.
Gotcha.
So that doesn't super deter me because I have the intention of getting, for one thing, getting every unit, at least one of every unit. And then for several of the units that have options that I'm interested in, getting at least one of every unit with the different weapon options so that I can run them without having to proxy and say, like, oh, this guy, the weapon you see on him right here, that's not the one he's actually using.
Yeah.
So that's my intention. And yes, for Warhammer, it's going to be, I feel super nervous, like, thinking about, like, going to one, especially because it's going to be in person. But
yeah,
no, I intend to. Like, the Store Fantasy up the road, yeah, they have, I think, like, Saturday morning at, like, 9 a.m. They do, like, tournaments. That's when they start their Warhammer tournament days. I think it's, like, every other weekend. It's either every other weekend or it's one weekend a month.
Oh, okay, I got you. Have you gone yet?
I have not, mainly because a lot of my stuff is great, but also there are a couple key units, like the monolith I showed you. There's a specific, like, army rule I want to run, but that monolith is kind of really important for that army rule, but I'm also not building it because I want to paint it in subassembly so I know the parts. The really, like I understand there are going to be parts of it that are gray that I won't see. I don't want there to be parts of it gray that I could see.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait on that, which means I'm going to wait on having the exact list I want for the detachment I want to run.
Mm.
So right now I'm just trying to get a feel for it, and I'm losing every game, and I'm learning a lot, and then forgetting most of it.
I was going to ask you about that. Like, are you winning it all, or
Nope.
is he just crushing you?
Nope, I'm getting crushed. Tyler is crushing the shit out of me.
Who does he play with?
He plays with Custodes.
Okay.
And he plays with Tyranids. The closest thing I can compare Tyranids to are the Flood.
Yeah, the bugs are it.
Yeah, because they land. They generally, like, they have a hive mind, a lot like the Flood. They will...
The Flood from Halo.
The Flood from Halo, by the way.
Not
yes.
Tracking on the Halo lore.
Yes. The Tyranids, yeah, they land. There's a lot more to them, but essentially they approach the planet at slow as fuck speeds. They overwhelm the planet, and then they collect the biomass from the planet to make more of them. When they get new biomass, from my understanding, they generally make new, like, forms of, like, Tyranids that are way stronger. Like, I think when they first made contact with orcs, I think it was, I don't know the exact details, but from my understanding, there was a faction in the universe that wanted the orcs and the Tyranids to kill each other, so they kind of orchestrated an event where they both ran into each other. But the problem is that because of that massive conflict between them, the Tyranids came away with more biomass, and specifically they came away with orc biomass. So when they made more Tyranids, those Tyranids were much stronger. And the orcs came away, like, not smarter, but they came away with, like, much better fighting tactics, from my understanding. Yeah, because they, like, orcs in the universe are stupid. Like, they, like, I think, like, some of the things that makes them strong is purely powered by belief. Like, if they believe, like, red makes you go faster, they'll paint their cars red, and because they believe it so much, because so many of them believe it, it does make you go faster.
That's interesting.
Yeah, their ships, from my understanding, are not nearly as technologically advanced as other factions, but because they believe they'll work, they work like shit. And they're like, they are, like, the most, like, DIY, like...
They got duct tape on the wings.
Yeah, like, yes, like, from my understanding, like, it is the most, like, shoddy construction ever. But because they're so dumb and they believe it so much, it works with problems. You know, stuff will blow up, but, like, they believe in it really good. But yeah, he plays Custodes, which are essentially the Emperor's personal bodyguards. It doesn't really make sense in tabletop because in lore, like, one Custodes could take on an army.
Yeah.
But then on the tabletop, it kind of translates in the sense that his minis are more expensive point-wise. So he will generally have fewer units on the board than me, but they will be, on average, much stronger than my units. And they are a pain to kill.
How do the clashes work? Like, we talked a little bit about the rounds previously, but like, how does moving, like, I don't understand the military tactics of like actually moving the pieces, and then when they find conflict, like, what's the point system? Like, how do you know who wins?
So a lot of the games I played initially, I played with the intention of trying to table Tyler, which just means I was playing with the intention of screw like objectives and score and all that stuff. I'm just going to try and kill all his units. So even if he's beating me in score, he has to admit defeat.
Yeah.
Even with Tyler telling me that it is very uncommon to lose to tabling, I kept trying to do it. Generally, the way the objectives work, and there are different mission rules. There's like a card set that can decide like how the deployment zones work on the table. So it can decide like essentially like what sides like the armies are coming in and stuff like that. You can get primary mission rules, which decide how points are going to be collected. And that can kind of wildly change up how the objectives need to be played. Normally, you will have 5 objectives, one of each in each person's deployment zone, where their army will be set up at the beginning of the game. And then there will be 3 objectives, generally set up in a very specific place in no man's land that both teams will need to get to and hold to gain points every round. There are also secondary missions that you can choose based on what the other person's army is running. I run a lot of characters because Necrons have a lot of characters, and I think I'm supposed to run a lot of characters. But the problem is that one of the secondary missions you can choose is Assassination, which gets you relatively a good amount of points for killing a character. So when I run like 8 or 9 characters, that's like almost a match worth of points on top of all the objective points Tyler could get if he kills most of my characters.
Gotcha.
But generally, yeah, mission rules. Some mission rules will like you can destroy an objective, so there's fewer objectives to control on the map. Some of them make it so you can move them, and you have to move them like closer to your opponent's deployment zone in order to get more points for them. Some of them like allow you to put down the objectives where you want. You have to go back and forth with it, but you can put the objectives down in places you want rather than like measured out spots on the board. And after that, it generally comes down to, get on the objective, hold the objective. Some mission rules allow you to gain extra points if like you have a character on the objective, but the goal is get victory points by holding the objective, get additional victory points from your secondary objectives, and if the match is really going poorly for you, you can throw away your secondary objectives and get a gambit objective, which is normally pretty hard to accomplish.
Yeah.
But it balances out by generally giving you like as many points as you probably expect to receive if you were winning like for the first 4 rounds. Like it gives you a lot of points. It's a Hail Mary, especially because they're generally kind of hard to complete, but you'll get a lot of points for it.
Are these cards or books? Like
I imagine the mission rules are also in a couple of the codexes, I would assume, but we play with cards, and generally we will set them up like in a three rows of 3, and the way we decide it is we'll roll to see who gets a higher number, and then that person can start vetoing. Each person will get 2 vetoes, and we veto from left to right. So in like the 3 rows or the 3 columns of 9 total cards, we'll look at the leftmost card and we'll go, do we want that for our mission rule, or do I want that for the game? yes, then I'll like keep looking down. And after we've both either vetoed twice or declined to veto, we will choose the 3 cards in each row farthest to the left. And that will decide our secondary objectives and such. It'll decide our secondary objectives, and it will decide how our deployment zones are going to be. Some deployment zones are way better than others for my army. Yeah. But yes, like it sometimes will take 30 at worst, maybe 45 minutes from getting to like his house and like starting to set everything up to actually starting. May take like 30 to 45 minutes to actually start like moving models and such. Because also when you've set up the board, you have to go in the order of so we'll place down like the terrain in the beginning, and then you'll roll to see what side you want to be on. So you set up the terrain in a neutral way because you don't know which side you're going to get. And then you will, depending on what primary mission you have and how the objectives are supposed to be set up, if they're supposed to be set up in a way that allows the player to control it a little bit more, you would roll to see who's going to go first in that. Then you will start, depending on which side you choose for the deployment zone, it will be either attacker or defender. Defender gets to put down their piece first, I believe. So they'll put down 1 unit, then the other person will put down 1 unit, and you'll go back and forth like that. So after you've put down everyone you intend to put down, you will then roll to see who goes first. So it thankfully kind of restricts you from being able to kind of like, I guess, not necessarily play favorites, but like give yourself an advantage. Like you can't set up all the terrain in one corner of the like map with the idea that you're going to be on that side of the map, because you could do that. And then the other person could roll higher than you and they choose that side. And now they got all the defenses and you got nothing. But also, yeah, you can't set up your army with the idea of I'm going to go first. So I'm going to set up all my army so that they're going to be able to shoot one person immediately. You have to set them up with the understanding that you might not go first. Someone else might shoot all your dudes, so maybe don't like place them in such a way that it makes it easier for him to do so.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of like other things that can affect that. Like one of the units I bought most recently can make it so that after we've put down all our models, he has an ability where I can go, okay, these 3 units, I can do something else with them. I could put them somewhere else, or I could take them off the board and put them on later. But other than like things like that, that's generally how you would start the game. And after that, like, yeah, the game would start, command phase, movement phase, shooting phase, charge phase, and fight phase. Usually charging and fighting do not happen on the first turn because the armies aren't nearly close enough to each other for that to happen.
Gotcha. Do you regret anything from when you first started to now as far as Warhammer? Like, is there anything like, for example, do you not like the Necrons as much, even though you invested so much into that team? Like, what's...
No. I think the Necrons are still probably the coolest faction. Custodes are pretty cool as well. And the Tyranids are kind of cool. Tyranids are a little like, I'm not like disgusted by them, but like their models kind of play around being disgusting more than I like. The Necrons just kind of like cool. And a lot of like named characters for Necrons are pretty cool in lore. Like Trazen literally is just a collector. He has a museum world, and he'll show up and be like, oh, you're kind of interesting. I'm going to put you in a prism where you will be locked in the same like 2 hours of time forever on display. And if something catches his eye, he's like, okay, yeah. Like one of the biggest events that happened, like he didn't give a shit about humanity at all initially, because he's been around long before they were. He didn't care at all until one of the biggest events in Warhammer called the Horus Heresy happened, and then he was like, oh, you guys are kind of interesting, so I'm gonna start capturing some of you and getting some of you on display. He's a huge hoarder, and I relate. So yeah, the Necrons, I still think are my favorite faction. And even though Trajan's model is 12 years old and looks like piece of shit, he is still one of the coolest characters. Yeah, I don't really regret. No, I don't regret going Necrons. I do kind of regret the order in which I bought models because some of my earlier losses could be like the way I bought my models more than likely contributed to some of my earlier losses because I was a little too focused on some of the cooler models that I like. Like there are death marks that are essentially they are character assassins. Normally, when a character is attached to like a bodyguard unit, if you want to kill that character, you have to kill every other like bodyguard in his army, like in his like little like squad before you can actually damage him. Death marks have a keyword called precision, which allows them to shoot at the bodyguard unit. If they successfully hit and then they successfully wound, they can then choose, if they have view of the character, they can choose to have the attack be targeted at the character themselves, which I really like. Death marks also they kind of are teleporting like sniper assassins. So you can put them wherever you kind of want. You could put them in the enemy backline. You could put them in your home backline. You could teleport them like in the middle of the map so that they have view of everything. They're really cool. So I bought and built 10 of them initially. The problem is that same box you buy for them, you build. You could also instead choose to build a battle line unit called Immortals. It would have been smarter for me to build Immortals earlier on because I had no fluff on my front line. Like I had nothing to really like push my army with. So oftentimes when I would play, I would just get kind of pushed into, and I would have like, I didn't like, death marks aside, I didn't really choose like models that couldn't do damage, but like they couldn't stand up to like someone running into them.
Gotcha.
So that was really my main problem because the way it works is like damage doesn't carry over often. So like if you have a model that does 9 attacks, that means even if it were to one-shot everything, like it hit everything, wounded everything, all the damage went through, it would only be killing up to 9 models.
Yeah.
So if you have like 20-man units, you can hope that they can't just all be killed right off the bat.
Yeah.
Especially when you give them like a couple like defense buffs that allow them to stand up to more damage. I didn't do that initially, so I lost a couple, and then I dropped a lot of money to course correct, still buying all the models I liked, but also buying a bunch of models for my battle line so that I can actually walk into the enemy army and not immediately die. I still do die, but that's where all these other things that I don't fully understand come in. Like, at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're getting the point value for what you're doing. If, like, this most recent match with Tyler, like, I really like the aesthetic of the death marks, being able to teleport in and shoot characters. He has a model that he played for the first time that can sit in the back. It has a really strong one, like it can shoot only once, but it has a really powerful shot. And it can target lone operatives, which normally what that keyword prevents is normally you have to be within 12 inches to attack something with lone operative. So something has to get really close to my model to actually hit it. He can ignore that. So he killed like 2 of my characters right off the bat in our first game. And I was like, okay, that guy's really fucking cool. So where the point thing comes in is it was about, I think, 120 points of his 2,000 point army. It was about 120 points to field that guy. He killed about 130 points. He killed about 130 points before I started annoying him and preventing him from shooting anything. But because of that, he already got his worth. He killed more points than the unit cost. So he's already looking decently good. And something I need to get a grasp for is when I'm building my army, I need to think, how many points are these guys going to cost? And how many points am I going to be able to take off the board before they get killed? How many points and units will they be able to kill before they get killed? Will it be worth it? Which has made it so I'm going to probably build a unit that I didn't really intend to build at one point, like with a certain weapon preset. I didn't intend to build them because it doesn't look that good, but also because of me intending to probably do tournaments. I should probably build like one of every model, one of every unit. So that's like, because of the last match we played, that's got me like really thinking about me trying to be efficient with my points.
Mm-hmm.
My characters are going to die. My models are going to die. So I just need to focus on making sure they kill more than they cost. And I did do a little bit of that last match. Generally, whenever I play a match, I'll be really stuck on all the mistakes I made that match, and I'll kind of forget the mistakes I made in the previous matches. Then hope I just don't repeat them.
Do you feel like you're getting better?
I'm definitely better than I was.
Yeah.
And I've gotten a grasp on a lot of the things I need to remember, like a lot of the small things I need to remember. So I can, like, matches will go faster. My turns will go faster now because I know what I'm doing. But I've never really been good at like those type of games where you're like commanding an army. That's why I much prefer turn-based.
Yeah.
Because like real-time strategy games, I can't fucking do. On top of just like, I'm not very good at them, I get distracted way too easily. I get way too distracted. Like in terms of just like actions per minute or just making sure I'm paying attention and doing something at all times, I get way too distracted, and there'll be like 2-3 second like moments where I'm just not doing anything. I'm like, oh, I need to do something. That's why I like turn-based though, and that's why I love Baldur's Gate so much, because I don't feel like I'm wasting time by not doing something.
Gotcha.
I can take my time, and everything's good.
Yeah, that makes sense. We talked a little bit before the podcast about Invincible. Total separate subject.
Yeah.
Season 3 is out.
Yeah.
Is it finished?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are they making more?
Yes. I think, who's the guy who voices J. Jonah Jameson? Do you remember? The actor.
J. Jonah Jameson. Yes.
Can't remember his name. Whiplash, great actor. So I can't remember his name at this moment. But yeah, he, I think, made a post saying that they were already, before season 3 was even done, they were already, like, I think, almost wrapping up, like, voice lines for season 4. So, yeah, like, season 4, I think, is on the way, which is good because, well, season 3 was enjoyable. It kind of, having read the comics to an extent, I know that it's like only a piece of like the arc. It's not like it wasn't like a full arc that just happened. So without a season 4, it would some of the build up they had in season 3 would be kind of worthless.
So what is Mark doing now? I mean, like, is there multiple dimensions right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they implement the multiple dimensions. Because I've seen a few shorts on it. I have not watched. I've watched season 1 we talked about. And that was pretty much it. And that was when it first came out on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not gone back to peruse the rest.
So in season 2, spoilers, in season 2, can't remember his name. But in season 2, there was a character introduced who had the ability open a portal to other dimensions. He, to his knowledge, was the only one of him across all the dimensions that had this ability. So he set out to do good with the ability. What he was going to do was he was going to collect like hundreds of versions of him from across all the different dimensions and have all their knowledge put into his head, so that he would be able to help everybody by collecting the various knowledge of whatever job all other versions of him were doing. And he'd be able to help other dimensions, like, with whatever problems they had. Problem is that the people he enlists to help build it were the Mahler twins from season 1, the big blue dudes. And he enlisted their help, like multiple dimensions of their help, which was fine initially. The problem is that Invincible comes in because there was like huge like power draws, and like he was sent in to like figure out what was happening. The Mahler twins start beating him up. Multiple pairs of the Mahler twins start beating him up. And the guy only wanted Invincible to be restrained, but the Mahler twins, being them, start trying to kill him. So in the middle of the process, the guy ends up like disrupting it by like standing up out of his chair and stuff like that. And it ends up like causing the entire thing to blow up. Like, I think like several of the Mahler twins, like of other dimensional Mahler twins, die. And like one of them gets scarred so that they know which one's the original. And that causes like a little bit of like side drama with them, because when he ends up repeating the cloning process, he's like, yeah, now we know who the original is.
Yeah.
And that causes conflict there. But what happens to that dude is his brain essentially grows so big it goes down his back. It looks really disgusting. But the problem is that originally his plan was to gain the knowledge, but still maintain his identity. Because he stood up, he gained the knowledge, and he gained all the like memories of all the other dimensions. And the big problem with that is that in like 98% of all of the dimensions, Mark is evil. Invincible is evil. Either he's evil on his own or he's evil with Omni-Man. But to one degree or another, they all end up as bad guys. So it was one good guy with the memories of hundreds of himself being preyed upon by Invincible, or watching his family killed by Invincible, or watching the world killed by Invincible. So that turns him into like a supervillain, because now he has, you know, he can draw from other dimensions, and he now hates one of the very few good Invincibles. They have a whole altercation in season 2, where Mark ends up thinking he killed him, because he starts beating the shit out of him. And he almost kills him, but because the guy didn't die, he opens a portal to a dimension he's familiar with that has like essentially these a race called the Engineers, which is in that dimension like humans, just essentially no ethics, went to like the absolute ends of like surgery and like technology and stuff like that. So they repaired him. He comes back in season 3. But yeah, like Mark in season 2, he's trying to prove that he isn't his dad, and he's dealing with a lot of internal struggle, because anytime he's reminded of something that his dad did, either by someone else or if he's doing something that makes him think, oh, my dad did this, then that causes a lot of personal like drama with him. Breaks up with his girlfriend, but he does get with Eve.
Oh, I thought Eve was his girlfriend.
Not in season 1.
Oh, okay.
Season 1 he's with Amber. But in season 2, part of the reason they break up is because aside from because Mark's a superhero and Amber's not, whenever a catastrophe's happening, Amber has to be able to live with the fact that Mark's going to show up to dates late. He's just going to show up to like late in general to everything. And she has to deal with the fact that he's going to be going into dangerous situations that she can't help with at all.
Yeah.
But in season 2, another Viltrumite named Anissa shows up in the middle of their date, puts her hand around Amber's neck, and is like, hey, Invincible, if you don't go up there with me, I'm going to break her neck. Which scares the shit out of her and him. And they end up going up there, and then she kind of beats the shit out of him.
Doesn't she rape him?
So that's a spoiler. That has not happened in the show yet.
Oh, really?
Yep. That's probably gonna happen next season, though.
Oh, okay.
But yes.
Yeah, she beats his ass. And
She
then
beats
is
his
like,
ass.
I need a baby.
Yeah.
And then is like, hey, I'm going to keep doing this until I get prego.
Well, to my knowledge, she only does it once because Viltrumite sperm. That's literally a panel in the comics that Eve says, but fucking, yeah, she only does it once. Not that that's not fucking terrible, but like, it's not a repeated thing. She ends up doing it once, and yeah, that traumatizes Mark. That is likely going to happen next season because in season 3, he dons the blue and black costume, which is infamous in the community because a lot of the worst things that happened to him happened during that time span that he's wearing that suit.
Oh.
So yeah, like he's in for a rough bout. It's already been a little rough in season 3. But yeah, season 4, things probably aren't going to improve very much because aside from that, a lot of other shit happens to him too.
Yeah.
I think during that period, like Eve breaks up with him, and then that happens, and then I think they get back together, but then spoilers again, he gets like stuck in an alternate dimension for 5 years. Like it's not great. Like he season 4 is probably going to be pretty rough for him. So yeah, no. But yes, that has not happened yet. And considering how season 3 ended, which was Conquest shows up.
The leader of the Viltrumites?
No. Conquest is one of their strongest warriors, though.
Okay.
He shows up because Mark didn't prepare Earth for Viltrum like Anissa told him he would need to.
Mm-hmm.
So Conquest shows up. Mark barely beats him, and only really beats him because Eve helps out. And I'm pretty sure it's because Conquest gets beaten by Mark that Anissa's like, ooh, this guy's more capable than I thought. So he would be a great donor.
Mm.
Yeah, so a lot of bad things. A lot of bad things to look forward to in season 4. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah. Yeah, the shorts that I watched, most of them were comics. They weren't the show itself.
Yeah.
So that was yeah, I guess I don't have a solid timeline though, because they are just shorts, just like random info thrown out there.
I am very curious how the audience of like only show watchers are going to respond to that moment, because it isn't played off or undermined really. Like after Anissa does that to him, like it kind of sticks with him.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like I think at one point in the comics, when Eve was trying to get it on with him, like he literally just couldn't do it because he was still like, he was reminded of the last time that happened to him. And like it doesn't just happen once and then go away. Like it sticks with his character for a while. So I'm curious to see how people react to that, because it's taken appropriately seriously, which isn't usually the case when it comes to guys getting raped in media.
No,
so
sure.
I'm very interested to see how that happens, because I don't have a lot of faith in people. I think it's going to get memed. I think there's going to be a lot of lucky him type comments going.
You know what? I don't think you're wrong there. I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, he gets the fuck.
Yeah, they're going to be like, wow, look at this really beautiful, dominant woman throwing herself at him. And even though he's broken up with Eve at this point, they're going to be like, wow, why didn't this guy just go along with her? Like,
I mean, to be fair, though, you did the same thing with Odysseus with his part with Cersei.
Well, mainly because he was just like bitching and moaning, like
because he was in love with his wife trying to get home.
Yeah, he was in love with his wife, but like it's not like he wasn't having sex with women. Like he was still doing that. He was just like,
was he? I
feel like you. Okay,
I don't think
to
so.
be clear, a lot of people were. I assume he was.
No, in the story, he never cheats on his wife. Like that's one of his critical like points, and that's why even with Calypso, like That's why he's so distraught, is because he's never cheated on his wife.
Okay, then I amend my belief. I was under the assumption that, like Achilles and Agamemnon and all of them, all the other kings, he was sleeping with sun priestesses.
I got you.
And
I think the story is he was monogamous, and he also didn't have any concubines or anything. Like genuinely, like Penelope was it.
Then he's based. He's more based than I thought. But yeah, like I feel like there's going to be a lot of those types of responses, and I'm not looking forward to that because it's gonna be awful.
I got you.
But,
yeah, it's an interesting time period, like with the United Healthcare shooting of the CEO and stuff like that, and people are just like, "Good." I'm like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?" Like,
yeah, like it's a really weird. I don't know, like I can understand why people are upset, but at the same time, it's like this doesn't set the best precedent because if the biggest like reaction or takeaway from that is I'm glad that happened, more of that needs to happen.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, shit could go bad fast, and I'm not defending like billionaires out there or anything like that. Like, hey, look, if you do some shitty stuff, people are going to be mad at you, and what one man does, that's what one man does. Like, I'm not gonna say like you haven't done things to deserve it, but at the same time, like
it can't be a common practice.
Yeah, it can't be a common practice. Let's reserve that for like uncommon situations, not like. It shouldn't be like the first resort or anything like that. Not that I think it was, but yeah, it shouldn't. People shouldn't jump to that cause or jump to that
reaction.
Yeah, reaction if they get put down by the 1%.
I guess you do realize he was part of the 1%, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why I was like, I don't know. That whole story was really weird.
Yeah, no, and then you get all the fan reactions of people going, "Oh my god, he's hot" and stuff like that. It's like, okay, let's.
But that's always been a thing, like Jeffrey Dahmer and shit like that, and like fucking Ted Bundy and everything. Yeah. What the fuck is wrong? Like people are just like, oh, he's so charismatic. I'm like, he's not attractive. Like he's normal.
He's not charismatic.
Like a 6. Like
yeah. He's not attractive. He's not charismatic. Like bro's like kind of like. Stupid. He's just like me, for real. Like he knows how to start a conversation and maybe convince people to do something for a little bit. Like he can't I don't know. But yeah, that's always been that because there are a lot of people out there who think they can fix people and think like, oh, he won't hurt me or anything like that.
That's an interesting point. Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm just thankful that while I am like eternally online, I am not in those spaces at all. I am in my own bubble, enjoying life.
Hell yeah! Do you consider yourself a keyboard warrior? Like, are you a troll online, Keaton?
A troll? Like, do I like bait people?
Do you fuck with people online?
Yes, but not like I'm not wasting my time like going on YouTube or anything like that, or like going on like message boards to like get a reaction out of people. The most trolling, I am a troll, but the most trolling I do is generally just like in the moment when playing video games. Yeah. Like, for example, whenever we play Overwatch, a big meme that happened years ago with Overwatch was C9, which what might make it even worse is I've trolled so much I've forgotten the actual like reason. But essentially, there was a match. I don't even know if it was just one match. It might have been a slight trend where Cloud9 ended up losing points. I don't know if matches, but they ended up losing the objective a couple times because they got so fixated on having a team fight that someone on the enemy team went around them, got on the objective, and scored the objective because they weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
So whenever we're playing Overwatch, if people just don't get on the objective for whatever reason, if we kill them all and they aren't physically able to get back to the objective, I'll sometimes just be like C9 in chat just to make other people on the enemy team mad, sometimes it works. Because if you get a response like that's not what a C9 is, I know I've won. Because now they are annoyed that they got called out for that, and now I'm living in their head rent. That is to the extent that is the most
so
trolling
fucking funny.
I generally do.
Yeah, man. No, I like it, dude. That's like that Larry Bird shit where you're just like out there just dunking and just like making three pointers and just being like, hey, I'm gonna do it behind. Like,
Because the thing is too, it's like usually it's not even a C9, but I'm just being like, hey, you couldn't get on the objective. And they get annoyed because they're like, that's not a C9. Do you not know what a C9 is? And I'm like, that's a total C9 right there. Definitely. Just like, I love pissing people off a little bit.
I know.
I know.
I mean, yes. Dude, you do it in person.
Of course.
But that's what I like about you, is that you're not just like a keyboard warrior that like when you do meet other people, you're very timid and shit like that. Like, you'll fucking get after it. You'll purposely push people's buttons and but when people push your buttons, bro, your reaction is hilarious.
Yeah. I can throw it, but I can't take it. I can dish it out, but I can't take it because
you get so mad.
I do. And usually, in the regards to one person you can think of, usually it's because I don't think they're trolling.
Yeah.
I think they're believing it. Pisses me off more, which is fine. I will say I'm really bad sometimes. I'm really bad at understanding if I'm actually being trolled or if someone is being serious about it.
Yeah.
So sometimes like I'll get like, I'll react to it pretty strongly because I'm like, are you serious right now? So I'm really bad at interpreting that sometimes, but yeah, like if someone else trolls me and I understand 100% that I'm being trolled, I can take that.
Yeah.
And I'll play it up a little bit, but yeah, no, just like I can't take it when people fucking think I'm the sheep. When people think I'm the sheep after their parents watch one YouTube video and he fucking spouts that shit off at work, like holy
so fucking funny. Dude, that was such a great that was a fond memory of mine.
I hate that guy.
It was so fucking funny.
Look, I hope nothing bad has happened to him. I just hope that he hasn't gotten where he wants to be in life.
Damn, that's fucking.
I hope he's just not where he wants to be, but I hope he's not like in a worse position.
Yeah,
just not any better either. That's just where I want him to be.
That's so funny.
I don't know.
Have you put any more thought about like your IT roles and stuff?
I have a little bit. The problem is, again, a lot of those jobs, at least on Indeed, when I've been looking through them all, a lot of them are like, hey, we want 3 years in the business for what I'm understanding is an entry-level position. And a lot of them want like a lot of certifications.
Yeah, certs are huge in IT.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I need to throw out a lot of IT resumes still, but I have put thought into that.
Did you shoot me your resume yet?
Thought I did.
I have to look where it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I did remake one in Indeed.
Okay.
So I have been using that, and that's why I really like Indeed. If I go to apply to a job and it's like apply on our website, I'm like already 50%. I'm like, because now I'm gonna have to fucking remake my resume, all that shit.
I get it. The Workday and like Salesforce and those, yeah, because they use software, but they don't connect.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a full redo every single time. I get it.
Yeah, it took me like 20 minutes to do one off of Indeed. I was like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like I could have in that time, I actually could have sent out over 20 of them.
Yeah,
like on Indeed. So I don't know why I'm doing that. Just yeah. I mean, I understand like it might be worth it, but in a numbers game, I don't know. I don't know if wasting 20 minutes on one job is worth it.
I went through Indeed the other time to get the position that I'm currently at, and I've used Indeed and I've used LinkedIn to get 2 of my most recent jobs that were higher level. They're fine. Like they're solid. I still recommend like if you're looking for like experience, internships, things like that, I would look on LinkedIn, specifically nonprofits. It's probably going to be an unpaid position, but you'll be able to like put experience on your resume and kind of like fluff it up a little bit more. Yeah, IT is interesting because it's really like, what do you know how to do? They don't care that much about your degree. They don't care that much about like all the other stuff. It's more of like, what can you do? Or do you have certifications that proves that you can do it? Like, that's really it.
Maybe I should try and get some certifications. I don't know. I'd have to start doing that. That's great. Fucking.
They're big, man. Like,
Yeah.
certs are huge in the IT field.
Makes me wonder why I got a degree instead of just getting some certifications.
That is the tough thing. The way that I like to view degrees is that degrees do a good job of, if a door is already open, you can fully go through it, but it won't crack the door. Like, you need either certifications or experience. That's what's going to crack the door open. And then the degree is like, oh, okay, you have something other people don't on top of everything else. Boom, you're in.
Okay.
So it's not bad to have. It's just not the best thing at this stage, I think.
I need to put on more work.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's all about, big dog.
Yeah.
Just that grind.
No. But yeah, no.
Anything else you want to throw out there?
I don't know. Let's see. Overwatch has been getting like some pretty big like updates recently.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they added so just yesterday, and I think in maybe like an hour or 2 hours from now, I'm gonna be playing. They re-added 6v6 to Overwatch after having removed it years ago. Yeah, they're adding it back. It's open queue, which kind of sucks. So that means I play generally with 2 people, which means every game we're going to get in with 3 random people. And if those 3 random people play some of the dumbest fucking characters, we're going to have to find some way to work around that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they added 6v6 competitive back, which is really nice because me and one of my buddies used to play tank duo. And when Overwatch 2 put it down to 1 tank, it was kind of depressing. But with 6v6 being there as well, they added perks to Overwatch. I don't know if I've talked about those, but the perks have kind of livened up the game a little bit for some characters. Like whenever you're doing damage, taking damage, healing, or what have you, you'll get XP and a little XP bar in like the bottom left of your screen, and every time you level up, you'll get to choose between 2 perks. You'll get to choose one between the 2, which give you an additional effect. Like I play Reinhardt, so when you hit level 1 for his perks, or level 2 technically, when you get his first selection of perks, there's a perk that allows you, when you throw a fire strike that penetrates like anything, like any enemies it goes through. When you do that, it directly gives you recharge on a giant shield that you can hold up, which allows you to frontline more often. Because you can put your shield up, take a lot of damage, throw some fire strikes, and you get some more shield back. So you can play a little bit more aggressive by doing that. That has kind of started to liven up Overwatch again, because a lot of characters have perks that allow them to play a little bit differently. Some perks are shit. Like, I think the Reinhardt perks, there are 4 total perks for each person, like each character, and you can choose between 2 every time. Some of those perks, like the other perk, is just, it's ass. And it's like, okay, like I could take it, but I might actually be throwing the game for my team if I choose that option. So it has, for some characters, it's choose the same perks every time. Still fun, but I imagine that's going to peter off a little bit because we went from no perks, it being the same every time, to now we're going to have perks, and unless they add more perks,
it's going to be
the same after a period of time. It's going to be the same every time.
Yeah.
And that's just going to become the new norm. And hopefully it works. Like, I don't know if 6v6 is going to work for a while because people are going to remember, oh, wow, tanks have a lot of responsibility. And while there are 2 of them now, and like, there's like, I guess like more people who can share that responsibility, people are going to realize, oh, they don't really like playing tank and having the entire team rely upon them playing well. So they're going to play DPS where all they have to do is focus on shooting people in the head, or play healer where all they have to do is focus on healing their teammates. So I if Overwatch can keep the train going, then we're looking good. If they peter off again, it's just going to become the same thing as last time, and we're going to run into the exact same problems.
Do you think that the perks and the changes that Overwatch is doing is because of Marvel Rivals?
Yes. Previously, they wouldn't update very often, and when they would update, it wouldn't be the biggest changes. It wouldn't really change much.
Yeah.
The biggest changes that would happen to Overwatch previously was they'd add a new character who would be completely new to the meta. They would either be okay, or they would be really fucking good, and they would require like half the team. If like an enemy picked them, it would require half the team to swap to a different character just to counter them.
Oh wow.
Like it wasn't the best experience because that was when most of like the big changes happened. New character, okay, now everyone has to find a way to adapt to it, and now every fucking dumbass online is going to talk about how, oh, this character actually isn't that strong. They don't deserve enough. When in reality, that person just sucks, and they can barely eke out a victory with them because they don't know how to actually play. I hate people online for that. Marvel Rivals is filled with way too many fucking people who think they know how to play, and then you learn they're in fucking platinum. Also, terrible thing about Marvel Rivals right now, and I was kind of on board with it early on. Mid-season, they were thinking about doing a rank reset and making everybody fall a set number of divisions that they would normally, like the same number of divisions they fell at the beginning of the season. They were thinking about doing that, and they went, no, actually, a lot of people don't want that to happen. I didn't want that to happen. They didn't do it. Here's the problem now. If you look at the stats for Overwatch of like the population in each rank, there are more people in Grandmaster. In that, like, individually in Grandmaster 3, there are more people in Grandmaster 3 than individually in any of the ranks going all the way down to Gold. So Plat 3, Plat 2, Plat 1, Diamond 3, Diamond 2, Diamond 1.
Yeah.
In each of those individual ranks, there are fewer people there than there are in Grandmaster 3. Because of the way they handled the ranking system in Marvel Rivals, where instead of it being a ranking system, it's just win games and climb from the bottom.
Yeah.
Because they did that, and they didn't do a rank reset, the higher elos are kind of filled with people who don't deserve to be there. There are people in Grandmaster 3 that probably shouldn't have even been in Diamond. And there are people in Diamond who definitely shouldn't be in Diamond. Which causes a really, like, bipolar experience. Because you'll be in a Grandmaster game playing against Celestials. Celestials, some of the best players in the country.
Yeah.
You'll be playing against them, and you'll have someone on your team who doesn't know how to fucking play a character. But they're playing them, but because they've just been putting in, because they put in 1,000 games, because they're literally like sitting on like 1,500 hours this season, they could climb because the system doesn't have an actual ranking system. Like, as you get higher, you'll start gaining a little bit less. But if you're win, losing, you're still going up. So we've had people in our games. Who last season were like low diamond. We've had people in our games who are Grandmaster with a 43% win rate. They have lost across hundreds of games. They have only gotten a win rate of 43%. They have lost dramatically more games than they've won. And they are still at their highest elo right now. They are at the highest point they've been before. The ranking system is... They need to reset that. Going to Overwatch, I kind of forgot where I was with Overwatch there, but with Overwatch, we did have a ranking system problem recently because with open queue for 6v6, we won 9 of our 10 games. Me and the other person I was tanking with, our predicted rank went from gold 5 or gold 4 to like plat 3. Like, we went up like about one division every single win. The person we were playing with that was healer, and they are good at healer. The person we were playing with that was healer, their predicted rank went from gold to plat to Diamond to Master. They couldn't play with us anymore on their main account. We were all in those games. We were all performing well. We were crushing the enemy team.
Mm-hmm.
And our predicted rank was shit. And I have to assume Overwatch's ranking system right now is fucked, because I don't think in any world should we be skewed that much. Like, me and the other person were mainly playing tank. We barely went up in our predicted ranks. But then someone was playing healer, winning the exact same number of matches. And they're now in like one of the highest like brackets. They're in one of the highest divisions. And it's like, what the fuck? So I don't know. Ranking systems. Bad ranking systems aside. Yes, Marvel Rivals, that's where I was. Marvel Rivals, because of the success of Marvel Rivals and because of the attention they've gained, Overwatch and Blizzard has been given, I think, a little bit more leeway to push out updates, push out big changes, because they need to regain the attention, regain the glory that they had. And I think they've gotten their foot in the door, for me anyway, because of the perk system, which is new right now. It's new and it feels good right now, so I'm feeling good. And they bought 6v6 back. That's feeling good right now. If they can keep that going, then we're looking great. Overwatch is looking great at coming back. But man, that's why when I'm online, I'm eternally online, but I like to stay in my bubble. I watch the things I like, I listen to the music I like, and that's it. Because going on like Reddit or anything like that, going into like bubbles of communities, because of it's like a majority thing, generally you will see the most number of opinions coming from people who are low elo. And then you will see some of the hottest takes coming from those people. And it's like, okay, look, I'm sorry that you're bad at the game. I'm sorry. Like, it's not your fault that you're bad, but it is now my problem that you have spoken. Because now I have to fucking read that and live with what you just said because you are stupid. It hurts. It hurts a little bit. And like, I like just being in like near that information annoys the shit out of me, because the problem is again, we live in a democracy where the most number of voices generally is like, you know, leading the charge. And when the most number of voices is from people who don't understand how to fucking play the game, it worries me. And it hurts me. So that's different. That's unrelated. I don't know. But that's also, I'm glad I don't like play a lot of Call of Duty or Halo anymore, because there would be too many multiplayer games. There'd be too many games where different communities spouting a bunch of bullshit could affect me. Like one or two like online games that like really that I'm attached to in terms of like performance. Otherwise, I'm playing like story games or co-op games that I can just sit back, do my thing. Yeah. And that's also the other thing with Warhammer. The problem is like, because I got into Warhammer 2 months ago, I've been trying to look up some stuff to, like from other people who play so Necrons. Much. There's so much. The problem is it relevant? Because I'll go and I'll find like a subreddit question that is on my exact question. Came out a year ago. There have been changes to the codex for Necrons. There have been changes to the units since then. I don't know what's been changed. I don't know when the big Necron changes have happened. So I'll look at a subreddit post and it's like, oh, that's the exact question I have. Oh, but the responses people are giving involve something that got nerfed. So it doesn't actually work that way anymore. So now this solution doesn't work. Do I have a solution? I don't fucking know. I need to wait. I either need to make the question or I need to find someone who asked the question more recently.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just in terms of that, like Warhammer, trying to find information on how to play my army, that's the other thing. It's a little hard. Tyler is really trying to help me. Tyler and Alec are really trying to help me understand my army. But at the same time, a lot of the armies work differently. I play a lot of characters, as I've said. And that's generally bad. Because if Tyler takes the assassination secondary mission, then I am giving him a lot of potential points because of how many characters I take. But at the same time, I feel like Necrons are supposed to take a lot of characters compared to other armies that might take 3 or 4. I'm supposed to have like 8, because a lot of my units revolve around them being led by a character. So if I have a unit that's not being led, it's like, oh, they are a lot squishier, or they don't perform as well, or just like they just don't have a lot they can do. And I might not trying to find that balance, because Tyler's really recommending me to make an army with lower characters, and I'm trying to do that. But at the same time, I'm worried. Yeah, well, at the same time, I'm worried he is wrong, and not because that he's done anything wrong, but because that's the way the Necron army might be designed to have multiple characters. And I'm worried, like, if I go that route, then I'm going to get shit on for a whole, like, list of different reasons, because, this unit might have actually made a difference and performed well. They had one character leading it. Yes, if the character had been leading it, that would have been maybe additional incentive to kill them. But at the same time, they might have actually done more before they died. Or they might have actually done something, because if they don't have a character, there may not even be a reason to shoot at them. He could just probably ignore them.
Are they that weak without a character leading them?
It's when he plays Custodes are fucking tanks. They're juggernauts. Like, in lore, one of them can take on millions. So on the tabletop, while it's not like that, he could have a unit that is just, most of my shots are just bouncing off. Because the way, it's wounding, you roll to hit, and the rolling to hit usually is unaffected by what you're shooting at. Sometimes what you're shooting at can make what your hit roll worse. Usually it is just based on the unit that's shooting. Some of my units are dog shit at shooting, and some of my characters make that shooting better. But after you get through the hit, after you roll all your like shots to hit, and you see which ones do hit, then you have to roll to wound. A lot of my characters don't have the best strength, because in order to wound, it's usually determined by the strength of the weapon you're using and the toughness of the thing you're shooting at. Custodes, they're battle line units that are very expensive, to be clear. Like, they are worth the points, but they generally are really tough. On average, much tougher than my battle line units. So I can throw a bunch of shots at them. Maybe I hit a bunch of them, but then maybe only, like, out of 20 shots, maybe I can get 14 of them to hit. But when I roll the wound, maybe 3 to 5 actually wound, and then he gets to save. Custodes have excellent saves. So he has to roll on a D6. He generally has to roll 2 or up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The last time we played, there were 2 hilarious moments that happened because he rolled ones. At one point, he rolled a 1 on a save, threw the dice. I picked it up, put it in his pile, and moved it around. He hit me for that. But because he wanted to get rid of that dice, and I put it back in his pile and made it. I made it incognito in his pile.
So funny.
He didn't like that. But there was another moment where he rolled a 1. He used an ability, if I remember. He used an ability, rolled a 1, used a stratagem, which costs like a limited number of points that he gets every round. He used a stratagem to re-roll that, rolled a 1 again. Like, that, I felt I was in cloud 9. I was up in the sky when that happened. It was hilarious. But yeah, Custodes generally have really good toughness, which on average, when my battle line units are shooting at his battle line units, that means I have to roll a 5 or a 6 in order to hit them. And then I have to usually roll either a 3 or 4, depending on what unit is shooting. If I have a character on them, that could be bumped up to 2 or 3. But I have to roll usually a 3 or 4 up to hit. And then when it gets to the wound, I have to roll a 5 or a 6 up to wound.
Oh, wow.
And then he has to roll usually a 2 or 3 at worst to save. So, and that's just to take, like, he's saving from taking damage.
Yeah.
His dudes are then like my guys, they get hit with 1 damage, they die. Granted, there's more of them, to be clear. Like, my units can have 10 to 20 people. His units will have maybe 5. But then his units of 5 have like 4 wounds, 3 to 4 wounds. So it takes a lot to get through that. And it is entirely possible, if not likely, that I am playing it wrong. But at the same time, I'm worried it might be a bit of both, where I am playing it wrong, and I am supposed to have 6 characters. Like, because normally you don't want to have too many characters. Like, 3 characters, I think, is like generally where like several other factions will sit. At a 2,000 point army, they got 3 characters. I think I'm supposed to have like 6. I think I'm supposed to have like 6 or 7. I think I'm supposed to be, if by virtue of playing Necrons, I think I'm supposed to be risking the possibility of him running assassination, and then I just need to play smarter with my units to prevent him from getting those character points. I don't know. I need to figure that out. I've made an army that's low character count, but I've also made an army that's a little bit higher character count. I'm gonna play them both, see how that fucking goes. That'll happen in like 2 weeks. I'll have my results back in like 2 weeks, because we play like maybe once a week. I can maybe get in like 2 games a week, but not. It depends. It depends on our work schedules and stuff. Like, I'll wake up fucking 9 in the morning for this shit, and then it'll be like a 6-hour match, and it's like, okay, I haven't eaten anything all day. Time to get breakfast.
Match.
Yeah,
dude, I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine.
Again, it's just like there's like some fluff with that time. Like, again, like sometimes it could take 30 to 45 minutes to start our game.
I know, that's crazy.
Yeah, because
like that is the time frame of my break. Like, that is it. Like, that setup would be it.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, because the 30, 45 minutes were like setting up the table, setting up terrain, choosing our mission objectives, deploying our army, choosing who goes first, secondary objectives, and then we're starting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could take 30, 45 minutes to start, and then like each turn might take maybe 45 minutes for both of us to go. So if we go 3 rounds, like, it could take maybe 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. If it takes both of us to go, then it might take like, if we go to round 3, it might take like 5 hours.
How much space does it need? Is it just like a normal tabletop? It's like a dining room table?
It kind of requires, like, it depends on the army. If you run a 500 point list, like, you could probably run it on that table over there. Like, maybe like, not that big, like, actually much smaller than that. Like, maybe like 3 foot by 3 foot, I think, at most.
Okay.
At 1,000 and 2,000 points, or up to 2,000 points after 500, you would probably run on like a 7 by 7 foot table. Which generally it's him taking out 2 foldable tables and then putting a mat on them. A table map on them.
Yeah.
At 3,000 points, I don't remember how big it is, but it is bigger. 3,000 point games would go forever. Like, 3,000 point games, I imagine you would either have to call it round 3, or that's the kind of game where you leave and come back the next day or the next time.
Like, no one touch anything.
Yeah, no one touch anything. We gotta finish this. I don't think 3,000 point games aren't very reasonable. Because it's also, I do want to do a 3,000 point game, but I feel like it'll also be hard to know if you have a good army or not, because in a 2,000 point game, you gotta make some sacrifices. Do you have more anti-armor? Do you have more anti-infantry? Do you have more people that can like deep strike behind the enemy like army? Like, you gotta make choices there. In a 3,000 point, you could have a little bit of everything. So then, how do you know if you have enough of anything? And it's I don't know. 3,000 point games. I want to do a 3,000 point one because it'd give me the opportunity to have a lot of my units on the board.
Yeah,
but I don't know how balanced it would be, or I don't know how much I'd learn from my mistakes, because I'm sure I'd make even more of them.
Well, yeah, it's also just so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to fix everything when you have that many pieces out.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, generally I try to get in one session. Michael, Tyler, and I all played a match. It was me and Michael at 1,000 points versus Tyler at 2,000 points. That was honestly the closest game I've ever had with Tyler.
Yeah,
and it was mostly because of Michael, because Michael is running an army that shoots really good. I was doing okay.
Wait, I'm sorry. So it was 3 of you guys going against each other?
No, it was me and Michael versus Tyler. He was running an army called Tau, which are essentially Gundams.
You told me about them.
Yeah,
or them.
Yeah, he was running Tau, 1,000 points of Tau, and I was running 1,000 points of Necrons, and we were working together to face 2,000 point custodians. It isn't seamless.
Gotcha.
It isn't seamless because I imagine both Necrons and Tau. This I assume applies to all factions. Generally, the more points you have in your faction, the more your faction can perform with its abilities. So like Michael was, I think, a little like disabled because he only had like 1,000 points, and if he had 2,000 point army, he probably could have crushed Tyler more than he did. If I had a 2,000 point army, I probably could have lost to Tyler a little bit worse. I don't know. I gotta figure out my situation because my characters are important, but at the same time, I am essentially giving him free points. So I either need to get use fewer characters, or I need to find a solution to him killing my characters.
You have heard it here. We need to figure out how to use the Necrons effectively in Warhammer 40,000. If you know the answer to this question, reach out.
Please.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Because I'm struggling right now. I think at one point I made an army with like 9 characters, and I think I lost just on the points, like not even objective. I think I lost just on the points he got from killing my characters. But was that a problem with how many characters I took, or was that a problem with how I screened my army and did I put them in vulnerable positions that made it easier for him to get the point value from it? Because again, too, the whole thing is like if he throws 100 points of a unit at me to kill 100 points of my units, and then his unit dies, it's like, okay, he got his points worth, 100 of his points for 100 of mine, but then he got like objective points because he killed my character. Like, I don't know. I gotta take all these things into account. And maybe I just need to buy more models. I need to buy more models, buy better models. Because I got a lot of stupid together, but like maybe a quarter of them I'm waiting to paint. So I can't use them yet. I refuse to use them. I refuse to build them until I can paint them. Nah. But yeah, no. Yeah, no. Like, yeah, it'd be really cool to run a Warhammer match with you, though I imagine like you would have to set aside like a year's worth of free time in order to fucking have a match with you for that.
For real.
Yeah, and then fucking I'd also love to run a D&D session with you. I'd really just we'd either have to get Tyler to DM, or I'd have to like learn, like pick up some of the DM, and then like maybe I could run like a Dungeons & Dragons session with like you and Dorian.
That'd be fun. Yeah. I know Becca wants to too.
Oh yeah, then Becca, yeah, Becca as well. It would be more manageable. It would have to be a smaller session because again, free time.
Yeah.
But like there are like I'd have to drop some money on that stuff, but there are like small like sessions that we could run like where it's literally like, oh, you guys are in this dungeon. You guys are in this dungeon for this reason. You guys are gonna go through it with your characters that you made. And then we go from there. But yeah, I'd need to set that up, and I'd also need to know that we're like gonna do that.
No, for sure.
Set that up. Because I would have to do a lot of reading, and I'd have to figure out what we're gonna do and set all that up, and then also gain confidence because I have to be willing to like I have to be God.
You have to do it, yeah.
I have to look silly. Well, I don't have to, but I have to be fine with looking silly.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. DMing's tough, and I'm very appreciative of all DMs that I know IRL. But yeah, I don't know. You got this chessboard out here. You've been playing chess?
Yeah, with Zoe.
Nice.
Yeah,
we've been your ass.
No, not yet. No, but I'm sure she will eventually. I've started learning a little bit more about chess, like practical more of like the Sicilian defense and some of those, like just trying to understand more because I'm just getting fucking destroyed by you. Like it's not even close.
I don't know. I'm just doing my thing. I honestly like we need to like. I much prefer like sitting down and just playing a match.
Same.
Because for the love of me, I keep making stupid mistakes. Usually with Josh, because he'll have the timer set to like a full day. So I'll make my turn with a strategy in mind.
Yep.
And then 20 hours later, when he's made his move, I've forgotten what I intended to do. I fucking fuck it up. And then, like, I'm convinced also, because Tyler did this to me, and now he did this once to me. And now, like, it's in the back of my mind. One of the times I played Tyler, like, I beat him, like, first 2 times, and then the third time, he beat me, and I was struggling. And then he was like, oh, yeah, I used an AI. I used an AI for that. I was just you doing all your moves and doing what the AI would do in armor.
That's so funny.
I'm worried Josh is doing that because, like, I'm just blundering so hard. And maybe he is just that good at chess, but it's like, it's pissing me off whenever I make a really stupid mistake because I'm like, if we were sitting down doing this, I wouldn't have made this mistake. But I'm making this mistake because I have a whole fucking days worth of events like have gone by, and like my mind is elsewhere. I'm in the Warhammer grind, Overwatch grind. I'm building shit, building a future, and this fucking guy is beating me in chess because can't remember.
Yeah,
remember shit.
No, I get it. I'm always doing the same thing. I'll always go back like a few times just to see like what the lead up is, and I
try to do that, and I'm like, I don't fucking know what smarter me was doing. I'm tired, me, and I gotta fucking make this decision. It's awful. But yeah, no, I'd be down to do a chess session here as well one time. Oof, I'm probably gonna hit fantasy today and make more bad financial decisions.
Fantasy?
Yeah, fantasy.
Like the store.
Warhammer and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna probably walk in there, and if they have something that I even vaguely want,
dude,
maybe.
Damn, bad. Right. So you just pull the trigger, huh?
It's bad. Maybe I can. I came so close. Like after having one discussion with Tyler about it, I came so close to buying a proxy model off of Etsy. That would have been like, about $30. I came so close to doing it because in order to get the model, if I were to go through the normal official channels to get one of those models, I would have to drop $140. Actually, no, $180. And then there's 2 ways I can go about building it. I can either build this one unit, or I could build this other unit and have a second unit. The second unit I'd have left over, I'd have to go that route. And the unit that I'd be building is considered one of the worst models for Necrons. Like, I think we're in 10th edition right now. I think in 8th edition, it was voted the worst model in Warhammer.
That's hilarious.
And I don't think it's gotten any better. It is a piece of shit. So if I were to go through the official channels, and I wanted to get 3 of those side models, I'd have to make, let alone, like, that other model that I could make with it is pretty good, but I'd have to buy 3 of those. I'd have to drop, like, $180 3 times going through official channels to get this one side model. And that is where I draw the line. Like, I prefer to go official.
Yeah.
That is where I draw the line. I'm going to buy one of those to get that one model, and then I probably am going to buy it again to build the other version so I can have the shitty model.
Yeah.
But I can't bring myself, because I said I have to buy it 4 times. Get everything I want. I have to buy it 4 times because that's one small side model. Well, it's a character that is pretty strong. Like, it's pretty hard to kill him. And because he's not an epic hero, I could run 3 of him. So, which is why I'm like, okay, I need to have 3 because I could run 3, so I need to have 3.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's bad, but yeah, the Etsy, there's like it's a like male model on Etsy. They have like female models, and I almost bit the bullet on that. I was like, no, I don't know. It's bad. It's really bad. Which is why I should just get the jump on getting that other job. Me getting my tax returns made me make bad decisions. But. Or I just need to work like an extra day, like already, like, because I'm working 3. Maybe if I work a 4th, then like it'll make a difference. But I don't know. Warhammer is expensive, very expensive.
Yeah. Looking at your work schedule, it does make sense why you have so much free time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, no, fucking. While I have a lot of free time, the free time that I don't have, which sometimes like is a problem, is I work on the weekends generally, like consistently work on the weekend.
Yeah.
And like Michael works during the week and then he's off on the weekends. So like, you know, trying to find like free time with him is sometimes a challenge.
Yeah.
Because we usually have to play around his work schedule. Because aside from that, because usually people work on the weekdays and don't work on the weekends. Like we do D&D or we do tabletop Saturday night, which means I work Saturday morning, get like a couple hours free time, and then I go do like 4 or 5 hours of tabletop. And then that's my Saturday. That's my Saturday usually every Saturday. It's pretty firmly booked. And then Sunday I usually close. So 5 p.m. to the rest of to the end of the night, that's where I am.
Yeah.
So in terms of like weekend free time, non-existent, which is like kind of a roadblock sometimes in terms of like hanging out with Michael. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I need to find an extra day. I need to find an extra day to work. Maybe it could be Thursdays or something. I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be super boring, but I also don't want it to be super busy. I was dying yesterday. I was dying. I hadn't eaten any food all day up to that point.
Why?
Because I woke up at like 2. I woke up at 2, and then I was like, I gotta get ready for work. And then I got to work, and then like, it wasn't busy. Like maybe I could have made something for myself, like right then and there. But I wasn't like hungry at that time, so I was like, okay, this is fine. We'll be okay. I'm a moron because it's Friday on a boost week. What was I thinking? I should have just like made something then, ate it, and then been good. But I was just on the table. Like the only thing that I had eaten or drank all day up until 9 p.m. was like 3 skis, diet skis. But yeah, no, I was running on fumes like the last 3 hours of that shift.
No, you crushed it.
Thank you. I mean, I needed your help because, like, sometimes I was like, sometimes it would be a little not stagnant, sporadic because when you would come and help me, they would slow down.
Yeah, dude, right? I always noticed that.
Yeah,
I'm like, guys, just keep going. Like,
no, yeah. Well, like when you would help me, they would slow down, and I'm like, in that time period, in that like 5-minute stretch between when you stopped helping me and when your help started showing in the oven, it would be chill. I'm like, oh, this is fucking easy. And then like, if I was able to like fully concentrate and not have to deal with any other bullshit, then I was fine. And if a bunch of bread sides weren't thrown out at the same time, it only happened like once or twice, but I think once or twice, 2 orders side by side had all their bread sides thrown in at the same time. So they had a bunch of bread sides coming out. And then I had a bunch of pizzas. And like the pizzas were able to sneak up on me because it took me like longer than it should to get these bread sides out of the way. And then like me getting distracted with fucking questions. Like at one point, Johnny, bless his soul. At one point, Johnny's asking me about this remake.
Yeah,
I'm like, look,
I heard your response.
No
and started
offense,
laughing.
but I don't know shit about this remake. Stop asking me, because he kept asking me, and I'm like, brother, please. I don't need to know. I don't know. Stop asking me. And like, yeah, no, that he was getting me there. I felt a little bad, but he was fucking getting me there. It was like, it was in the last like 45 minutes of the shift, and I'm like, just gotta make it through, get home, eat something.
Almost there.
And I'm being asked about this order that was taken over, like the remake was talked about over the phone, which I am nowhere near.
Yeah.
And it was talked to someone else that isn't me, so don't ask me. Yeah. And then he kept asking the same question like 3 times, and I told him the correct answer every time, but he was, because like it was my understanding that he was taking the remake, and I'm like, you're taking it. And he's like, am I taking? I'm like, I think so. And he's like, oh, am I taking? I'm like, don't ask me, dude. Don't ask me. Just don't ask me. Go talk to someone else. What I've heard, it is your remake to take, but every single time you ask me, it makes me less certain, and then I remember I don't fucking need to know. I'm on oven. So
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
All right, we are gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you very much.